I'm Tim Herrera with the Sacramento County Office of Education, here with another Teacher of the Year profile. Right now we're sitting down talking with Jana, who is the Teacher of the Year from the Galt Joint Union High School District. Welcome.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations on your honor.
Thank you very much. It is quite an honor to be chosen.
How did you find out? How did they break the news to you in your district?
Well, actually it was by email, and the funniest thing was I was talking with a former student at Home Depot, and she had a coworker announce it over the whole store intercom, and so I found myself being announced.
So were you in the lumber area when you found out?
Yeah, okay. I was actually.
That's great. That's a great story. So tell us a little about what school you teach at and what you do teach.
Well, I teach at Galt High School, and I teach 2 ROP courses, Careers with Children, and a child development class, and I teach interior design, and so they're career technical education classes, and I really enjoy them because the students get to practice what they're learning. My students go off campus on a daily basis in Careers with Children, and they tutor and teach elementary students on a daily basis, and so it's really gratifying to watch them put into practice what we've learned in the classroom.
Explain why CTE is so important.
Well, as President Obama said, it's important that we teach not only the academics, but we teach them the career opportunities and train them for careers. And I think that programs such as the ROP programs and the CTE programs need to do just that, and they do that very effectively. I think students remember what they get to put into practice versus what they're passively learning in a classroom in any given day.
And how do you see the student kind of mentally connect when they start really learning things that are applicable to what they may want to do in a career?
Well, I see my students' faces light up when they're in the classroom with their elementary students, and they'll come back to me and they'll share what challenges they've experienced and how they're trying to overcome those challenges. But they take it very personally how their own elementary students are achieving, and I think that's how they mentally connect, is when they have their own students that they're responsible for.
And with career technical education, students kind of get to try on a profession and see if it fits or if it doesn't fit.
Exactly, and that can be the most valuable thing, is to see whether it doesn't fit. Although in the Careers with Children program, I find that students that didn't think about working with kids often decide to major in early childhood education or teaching because they realize the strengths and their attributes that they didn't have, or they didn't know that they had before the program.
Now, have you always taught this type of curriculum?
I've also taught health and nutrition. And the other class that I really enjoy teaching is interior design, because a lot of my students have gone on into that field as a result of just being exposed to another career that even though that type of course and program may not exist at a lot of high schools because of the stringent academic requirements now, I find that a lot of my students that have gone on into that field say it's because they had the opportunity to take a class like that.
Do you find students taking career technical classes are kind of inspired in their other classes as well as an incentive of things?
Yes, definitely. In my program, unless the students are maintaining a high GPA and excellent attendance overall, they can't be the positive role models that we require for the younger children. So it raises their achievement in all the class subject level areas.
And how long have you been a teacher?
26 years.
26 years.
26 years.
So how have you seen education change in that amount of time that you've been in the profession?
I think that the standards have been raised, and I think that's a good thing. Education has changed in ways, but children, I think, deep down inside are still the same. So maybe we're addressing how we teach children differently, but children still have hearts and minds that teachers connect with on a daily basis and form lasting impressions on their memories. So that part has stayed the same.
But with standards too and changes like that, there are higher expectations in a way of the students.
Definitely. And that's good. All of the accountability that we discuss in education, all that's, I think, very important and very necessary. But still, when all is said and done, I think it's the children teaching to their hearts and their minds that's really important.
When a student is involved in a career technical education class, do you find that the projects give them more of a sense of ownership?
Definitely, definitely. Going back to when my students come back to my classroom asking me what they can do to spur their elementary student to do better, and when they take their own time after school to come up with these lesson plans to assist their own elementary students, it's really gratifying to see how they have taken ownership of not only their own educational process, but someone else's.
Mm-hmm. Now, had you always wanted to be a teacher?
I have definitely always wanted to be a teacher. Ever since someone asked me when I was in 4th grade what I wanted to be, and before I realized, I was blurting out that I wanted to be a teacher. And I kind of was shocked at my response because I didn't realize, and no one had ever asked me what I wanted to be. But that's what I answered, yeah.
And you just gravitated to it at an early age. So were there some teachers in your past that you kind of channel when you're teaching that you use as an inspiration?
Oh, definitely. I have 2 aunts, 2 uncles who were teachers, and but a teacher that I really attribute a lot of my continuing desire to achieve that goal is a retired teacher for Sac City Unified School District, Mr. Steve DeGusta. He was my advanced biology teacher, and I will always remember what he role modeled for us as a teacher and how much I respected what he taught just by doing and by being. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what would you say to that person out there who is considering education as a profession? What would you say to kind of convince them that maybe they should strongly consider it?
Well, just like I tell my students on a daily basis, the ones that I see in the classroom working with the elementary students, I say to them, if you feel as inspired by working with your young students as I still feel after 26 years of teaching, then perhaps you should think about going into the profession. If you have the strong desire to make a difference in children's lives, then consider that profession.
And you've had some do that?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably at least 25 former students that have gone through our program that are now teaching, and that's just in the town of Galt. And I don't know how many others, in surrounding areas have gone on.
Do they still use you as a resource? Do they come back and ask for help? Do they?
And then my girlfriend, who actually started the child development program 30 years ago, they seek us both out to share with us how the program inspired them to go into education. Definitely.
Well, I guess there's no better proof than how well the program works than to have some students go into that profession.
Exactly. And then those same students that are teaching in the surrounding schools are now training current students that I have placed in their classrooms. So there's nothing more gratifying than having former students training current students, because they can speak with that knowing of what the program developed in them.
So you developed an entire circle of life of education just down in Galt.
And when the grandchildren of my former students start coming through, I'll think, wow, been in education quite a long time.
Still be a few years from now,
Yeah.
I'm sure. Well, again, congratulations to you on the honor of being named the Teacher of the Year for the Galt Joint Union High School District. We've been speaking with Jana Din. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.